Hello, my name is Bill Haley for the Facebook page called Competitive Prisons. Now, I'm going to put this out on a lot of social media places, and I have a website that you can go to for Competitive Prisons, but the Facebook page is where I want to do a lot of my commenting and discussing the issues. But this video is going to be 15 to 20 minutes trying to give you a good overview of the whole thing. Then we'll try to come back and do piece by piece, a little bit more explanation on each bullet point on this. So let's go through this a little bit. So the Facebook page you can find at Competitive Prisons, or you can go to my Haley2024.org page, webpage, and then it has links to all my social media and to my Facebook pages, and a very good drop-down menu. So we want to do private prisons, but it's going to be called Competitive Prisons because we'll show you how it works. Okay, proper training and oversight is key. We will definitely have the societal oversight to do and the proper training. So not just anybody can open up a prison. You have to go through, you have to meet some regulations and some thresholds. Funding is significantly based off results. We'll go through the results in a little bit, but that's so key. So competitive prisons, private prisons with better results, meaning long-term thriving of the person being imprisoned, less recidivism rates, and I'll go through it all, but restoration and there's a lot of things to do. The ones with when that prisoner is released, they don't come back, then that's going to give that one prison system more business and more money per prisoner and the whole 9 yards. And I know prisons have a different, every prisoner has a different dollar amount stuck to them to a large degree. If you're very healthy, not so much. If you're a lot more ill, a lot of illnesses and a lot of costs, healthcare costs, it can be more. Plus, if you can actually do work, you can offset some of that cost. So let's go through it. It has been proven that if society groups antisocial people together for rehabilitation, they get worse. So we need to try to make sure, since prisons are a place where antisocial people who want to do harm to each other, they gather together, they get worse. So competitive prisons will have to try to understand that and make sure we're not just gathering those people together. Obviously, there's some of that, but how can we do it to get them better and have better results? Many experiments have been tried, but it's mostly a monopolized system. It is hard to assess with a monopolized system. Statewide, every state can do it differently, but there are some standards that have to be done across the board. So there's a lot here. There's a lot of restrictions on what they can and cannot do right now. We're going to take a lot of that restrictions away and bring it to more of a rating floor. And you have to understand what a rating floor is, and I might get to it in a little bit in this video. Every competitive prison will receive a low base amount per prisoner. And again, every prisoner will come with a dollar amount based off illnesses, how well they are they willing to work, are they not willing to work, what are they in for, violent crime, non-violent crime, can they be non-violent, can we just do a Big Brother town? There's a lot to it. And yes, every prisoner has different expected expenses, so we have to understand that, and this system does understand that. Every citizen must become a member of one of roughly a dozen prison rating systems that matches their philosophy on how they envision prisons, policies, and success outcomes. So every citizen and every business will have to become a member of a CRA to do the prisons, competitive prisons, a competitive prison. They have to join one, and that will bring a certain amount of money because you're paying your taxes towards that one, and you also do a rating system. So one actually does the prisons, one rates the prisons, and based off of ratings, that's where you're going to get some of that money. And the ratings are going to be extremely important. And it's a competitive rating system. That's highly important to understand that we don't have a one-size-fits-all monopoly rating system, because that can be gamed. Corruption, abuse comes in with that. When you have competitive, it takes away a lot of that corruption, abuse, and the issues there. A significant percentage of prison compensation will be based off the average of the ratings of all prison rating agencies. So that's part of the competitive prisons. You have a rating system, and a big percentage of the compensation for the prisons are going to be based off the ratings. How good are they doing? Are a lot of people getting injured in there? Are they coming out and are they just learning the trade of being a criminal and being a better criminal, more violent criminal, more antisocial? Are they going in there, or are they going in there and learning a skill, learning some morals, learning some ethics, and coming out and being a more productive citizen? So how they rate, again, you have about a dozen different rating agencies to join based off their philosophy of what they want to see. Individuals will have differing ideas on the desired outcome and the method for its achievement. So I and my neighbor and the neighbor down the street will all have different ideas about what the desired outcome is and the methods to get there. So I'm going to join the rating agencies and the competitive prisons that think the way I do, and hopefully they're going to get the best ratings. If not, I might just if mine doesn't get the best ratings, I might just switch, or I can just say no, I really don't like the way they do it. They might have the better ratings from some people's point of view, but not from my point of view. So with a competitive rating agency, it really is going to matter. Okay, a competitive rating system allows every citizen's voice and opinion to be heard and representation to have real effect. So it's highly important. It's not just a winner takes all in our current elections. We have competitive representatives. When you have competitive prisons, you have competitive representation. When you have competitive rating systems, you have competitive representation in your rating system. Both of them are going to be important. So let's keep on going. Every prison rating agency will decide what they consider are the best outcomes and methods. So it's highly important. But I think the general overall of almost all citizens will be looking at low recidivism rates. Highly important. Restoration. Are you restoring the victims of your crime in some way, shape, or form? And how creative can you be in doing that? Can you do some compensation? Compensation for your prison. Also compensation for your prison, the expenses of the guards in the building and the whole 9 yards. And can you compensate? Well, reparations is compensating the victims. Compensation is compensating the state, the general citizens for being incarcerated. Or this could be also parole and the like. So it's reparations to the victim, personal long-term prospering of the convicted. So the cons, now some people are going to say, I don't care about the cons, ex-cons, let them go out there and have a bad life. And I understand that thought pattern. But is that going to give us a high recidivism rate? We want a low recidivism rate. And if you have a long-term prospering of the convicted, better ethics, better morals, not doing the crimes anymore, then we're going to get lower recidivism rates and a better society at large. We don't need people who are ex-cons out there, better with the whole system, ready to lash out and harm people physically, or take property, robbery, and all that stuff. So, so these are some of the issues that I would want to see in my rating agency and my prison to make sure they are concentrating on these issues. Other people, my neighbors, people down the street, somebody in the city down the way, they're going to be having maybe a different list of things. And I might disagree with that. That's fine. That's why we have competitive rating agencies. But the full rating system is made up of around a dozen rating agencies. Based off of your representation, you get an average score. Rating floors will ensure prison abuse is appropriately addressed. So we definitely don't want to have prison abuse. There's a lot of ways to get prison abuse. And sure, we want it to be unpleasant, but we want it to be safe. Obviously, we don't want people to want to be there, but we want it to be a quote-unquote safe space where people don't think they're going to be physically assaulted, battered, and the like. So, but regardless of that, there's a lot of abuse that can go on and does go on to some degree. What I think the rating floors will make sure a prison. Now, rating floors, if you go too low, you're not going to get good compensation anyway. But a rating floor is going to allow it to say, no, you're just way too low. People are getting abused too much and the like. So rating floors will be there. So it might be a rating floor of 40. You cannot go below a rating floor of 40 and because you're just causing too much problems. Now, you're not going to get a lot of money at 41, 42, 43 ratings. People with ratings of 80 and 90, they're going to get the better ones. And nobody ever should be above 90 because we always want a place for it to grow, to get better. They should strive for the 90s, but as they strive up, the rating floor goes up, everybody gets better. They learn from everybody else's experimentation. Okay, let's keep on going. Prisons and probation businesses have the right to work and educate prisoners. Highly important. If you are a convict, if you are convicted in a court of law that you did harm enough that you have to be in jail, it is a good thing to work somebody and to educate that person. And it is forced. You could call it forced labor. Some people even call it slavery. No, it's not slavery. Slavery started off unjust. This is starting off as a conviction of them doing wrong to somebody. Physical harm, they robbed, whatever the case may be. So we're not going anywhere close to slavery, but don't get me wrong. You cannot do anything close to the abuse of the slavery thing. So slavery would be tremendously the wrong word for it. But some people look at it with one little aspect of you're forcing labor, therefore slavery. No, that's not what slavery is. Forced labor is a very good thing in this manner. And again, not abusive, but realistic, good labor, teaching them a trade so they can have a job when they get out of prison. And anyway, there's a lot to get into that, but don't let anybody say that this is horrible. Okay, there's a lot to consider. I'm only 12, 13 minutes into this. It's a good overview. I wanted to go back and make a lot of shorter videos on each one of these points, 3 to 5 minutes on each one of these points, just to really drive down on what we're thinking on this issue. And again, with competitive prisons and competitive rating agencies, it's going to gear everything towards higher ratings so they can get the money. And we're looking at probably a lot less money from government taxes than we currently are because we are gearing towards improving people's lives, better ratings. So anyway, there's a lot to it. I can talk forever on this subject. Until the next video.